Good morning, students. My name is Reema and I welcome you all to Vistaslearning. You all must be knowing what is Vistaslearning, right? Vistaslearning is an online platform where we provide quality education for all. Here, you will get all the videos from grade 1 to grade 12. So, to get all the benefits from our channel, do subscribe to it, like, share it with your friends, family members so that someone out there get access to quality education. Here, we design the lessons according to your cognitive ability so that you understand it in an easy manner. So you all might be thinking that why ma'am is here because this was our Sanjay sir's class. So from today, I will be handling your science for grade 7. Sanjay sir has got some other class to take, so I know you all will be missing him, but I assure you that you will enjoy learning science with me. So, Sarah said that you all have completed chapter 5, right? What you have learned there? You have learned about the acid, base, and salts, right? You have learned about the properties of acid, base, and all about the neutralization reaction. So, what is our next chapter? Yes, it is your chapter 6. So, what you are going to learn in this chapter? This is one of the interesting chapters. But first of all, tell me, how many of you like science? Science is a very interesting subject. If you enjoy, if you like this subject, you will only can learn in an easy manner. So see, chapter 6 is a new chapter. What you can see in this picture? You can see the melting ice, right? Then the burning wood and then rust also in the iron mill. So what you can find out from this chapter? What it is exactly? So in your surrounding, you see lots of changes, right? Every day you are coming across various changes, isn't it? So some of the changes are physical, while some are chemical changes. So here in this picture, you can see that ice it is melting, right? And also the burning of the wood. So what type of changes are that? It is all about the changes, that is, the physical and chemical change. So, our next chapter is physical and chemical changes. So, let's begin this new chapter with full energy, a new chapter, and a new beginning. You will be learning a lot under this chapter. I hope you all are ready with your notebook. So, come, let's start this chapter. So today will be your part 1, right? Okay. So what you are going to learn in today's topic? Today we are going to learn about meaning of change. Then we'll learn about some of the examples of change. Then physical change. We'll also see some of the types of physical change. And the activity related to physical change. Clear? So, before that, tell me what is change? What do you mean by change? You can see here a beautiful picture, right? One side of the sky it's blue in color, and one side is full black in color. You every day you experience change. There are lots of changes you come across in your life. So you see, when it's going to be rain, it's like dark, right? So what is changing here? The color is changing, right? Yes. So once you were small, right? Slowly and gradually you're growing up in size. So what is happening? Your size, your shape, everything is changing, right? So how can you define change exactly? Whenever there is a chemical change, what happens? The chemical composition, it is getting changed, right? So what is change exactly? Can you define change now? What is this? What this process is? It is the process in which there is a change in state, color, shape, size, property, and chemical composition of a substance. So some of the changes will be reversible, whereas some are irreversible. What do you mean by reversible now? What do you mean by reversible? Reversible means you will get back again, right? For example, water. Right? It is a reversible change. Irreversible. What is irreversible? You will not get back, right? When you are burning a forest, can you get back the forest again? No, right? It's not possible. So that is irreversible change. So basically changes we see two types. Now, as you understood about change, let us see a few of the examples of change. Now, what you can see in this picture? What is this picture? Two persons, they are stretching the rubber band, right? They are stretching it. So, I also have a rubber band. See, I am stretching it. What is happening? The shape, right? It is changing. And size also will be changing, right? So, stretching of a rubber band is an example of change. Now, can you tell me what type of change it is? It is physical change or chemical change? Yes, it is a physical change. Now, next example. Your mom, every day she will bring or dad will bring vegetables from the market, right? So for that, mom needs to cut it into smaller pieces for cooking, right? So the shape and size, everything is getting changed, right? So this is also a change. But when she's cooking it, what happens? The chemical composition it changes, right? So cooking is also a change, right? So cooking is a chemical change. Understood? Okay. Now see, next picture is all about your melting of ice. Now you keep ice cubes outside. What you will see? The water droplets are coming out from it, right? So you will see that the change in state, that the solid state is getting converted into liquid state. That is the melting is a process where the state of matter gets converted from solid to liquid. Clear? So melting is also a change, but it is a physical change. All right? Okay. Next, what you can see is rusting of iron. Right? Now, what is that rusting of iron? What is rusting? When you keep something which is made up of iron, you will see that when it comes in contact with water and oxygen, so it will result in the formation of a reddish brown pigment, right? So that is rusting. Now, what is this process exactly? It's basically a oxidation reaction taking place, right? Now, how can you define it? So it is a oxidation reaction in which iron will be reacting with oxygen and water. And what it will be the end product? It will give rise to hydrated iron oxide. Clear? So what is rusting? It is an oxidation reaction. Basically, the oxidation reaction is taking place in this process. So it is an oxidation reaction where the iron will be reacting with water and oxygen and it will form what? Hydrated iron oxide. Clear? Now, tell me, what is oxidation reaction? What do you mean by oxidation? What happens in that? In oxidation, there is loss of electrons, right? So this is an oxidation reaction, this process. And this is a chemical change. Clear? So this is a chemical change. Now, next picture, what you can see is we are dissolving salt, we are dissolving water, dissolving sugar in water, right? So this is also change. Clear? Dissolving salt, dissolving sugar in water, this is also a change. Okay. Now, next example, what you can see here, it's a growth in an organism, right? So each and every living organism, they will grow in size, right? So there is a growth, right? So what happens in growth? The cell number increases in growth. Even the mass also increases. So when growth takes place, the change is also taking place, right? Once the plant, you can see the seed, right? So it is very small. The seed is very small. Now it's slowly and gradually it is growing in size. So what happens? The change is taking place, right? So it is a irreversible change. You cannot get back that small plant again, right? So this is a irreversible change. So growth in an organism is an example of change. Clear? Okay. Now, as we have seen, there are few examples and the meaning of change, right? Now, what are the two types of change? The two types of change will be, one is your physical change and another one is your chemical change. Clear? So, basically, you will be studying about physical change and chemical change. So, today, we will be learning in detail about physical change. Now, what you can see in this picture, what this is, it's a pot, right? It's a clay pot. So for that, the pot needs mud, right? So he's changing the shape of that. He's giving it a particular shape, right? So what type of change it is? It is a physical change. Now, how can you define this physical change? In physical change, only the physical property will be changing. There is no change in chemical properties. Clear? So now let us see the definition of physical change. So what is physical change? Physical change is a change from one form to another without the change in its chemical identity. Clear? So in physical change, there is only change in the physical properties. Remember, there is only change in physical properties. Clear? So there is only loss or gain of electron is taking place, and physical changes are reversible changes. But there are some physical changes which are irreversible too. So clear with the definition of physical change? You can write it down in your copy. Okay. Now let us see the types of physical change. What are the various types of physical change? You can see boiling water, right? That is the liquid state of water that is getting converted in the form of vapor, right? So let us see the first one, boiling. What do you mean by boiling? It is also one type of physical change. In boiling, what happens when you boil the water, the liquid, it gets converted in the form of gas, right? So it's a physical change. We can get back this water again, right? Yes, it is reversible. Next one is your condensation. So condensation is the process how the rainfall is taking place from the vapor to the liquid. That is the conversion from the vapor to the liquid form, right? So that is condensation. That is also a type of physical change. Next one is dissolving. When you are mixing the salt, sugar and the lemon into the water to make lemonade, right? That is a physical change. That process is known as dissolution or dissolving. Clear? Okay. Next one is your freezing. So when you're keeping a bottle of ice in your deep freeze refrigerator, what happens? You will see after 24 hours, it will be solid, right? So that is known as freezing. Now basically what is freezing? That is conversion from liquid to solid. Clear? So the state of matter which gets converted from the liquid to solid state, that is freezing. Okay. Next one is your drying. Now what do you mean by this drying? When you are keeping your wet clothes outside, what happens? It dries up, right? So what is that process? That is basically evaporation. What happens in that? The liquid, it gets converted in the form of vapor, right? So that's how your clothes gets dried up. So that is dry or freeze. Clear? So that is also a physical change. Next is frost formation. That is how the snow is being formed. You all have experienced during the cold winter season. You will see some droplets of water in the leaves. Now what is that? The air which is present in the atmosphere, it gets frozen, right? So that process is known as frost formation. All right. So that is how the formation of snow takes place. Okay. Next, let us see what is melting. You all know I have already said what is melting, right? So what is melting? that is from state, from liquid, from solid to liquid, right? So it's the state, that is when you keep the ice outside, it will melt, right? So the state of solid gets converted into liquid, that is melting. Next is smoke. When you're burning something, what happens? You see that gas coming out, right? When you're burning wood, you see that gas coming out, right? What is that? That is smoke. Clear? That is a type of physical change. So next is your vaporization. So what is that vaporization? Vaporization means in that the solid or the liquid substance gets converted in the form of vapor. Alright. So that is vaporization. When you keep ice cubes outside, you will see that the smoke is things coming out, right? That is in the form of gases, right? So that is vapor, right? Even from the solid also, you will see the gas coming out, right? That is vapor, right? When you are boiling water, you will see that the vapors coming out, right? So that is solid and the liquid. It is getting converted into vapor. That is vaporization. So this is all about the types of physical change. Are you clear with the types of physical change? That is boiling, condensation, dissolving, then freezing, then drying. Then what is the next one? Frost formation, melting, and smoke and vaporization. So these are the types of physical change. Now let us see one activity. You also try it with in your home. Okay. So see here I have it paper, right? So take a paper, then you crush it. Okay. So crush it. Then you open it. What you will see? Only the shape changed, right? I took a paper, I crushed it. Now again I am opening it, right? So only the shape changed. Now it is bigger in size, right? When I crushed it, it was smaller in size, isn't it? So only the shape changed. So what happens in physical change? Only the physical property changes. Clear? Okay. Now let's see another activity. This already I have explained. So what you need to do? Take water, keep it in the refrigerator till it turns into ice. Next, what you need to do? Keep it outside for 1 hour. Its state changes into liquid, right? That is melting taking place. Now boil the water. The state changes into gas. That is rising steam takes place, right? So this is a physical change. The property of the water is the same, right? The water is the same here. There is no change in chemical properties, isn't it? Only the physical property is changing here. Understood? Okay. Now see the flow chart. The ice cube, when you keep it outside, it will turn into water, right? And then water, when you boil it, what happens? Water vapor. So from the ice cube to water, that process is known as melting. And when you boil the water to water vapor, it will turn, right? That will known as evaporation. Clear? Okay. Now you can see the state of matter, right? In the diagram. So you can see that there are various changes which is taking place. One is freezing, right? The liquid getting converted into solid, right? That is freezing, then melting, then solid to liquid, that is melting. Then evaporation means liquid to gas, right? And then condensation means gas to liquid. And what is sublimation? Sublimation means the solid, it is getting directly converted into gas without changing into liquid. Clear? And what is deposition? That is, we have studied frosting, right? How the snow is being formed, right? So that is from gas. It is directly converted into solid without being changed into liquid. Deposition means what? Directly getting converted from gas to solid without getting converted into liquid. Clear? That is deposition. And what is sublimation? Sublimation means from solid to gas without getting converted into liquid. Clear? So these are the various physical changes which is taking place. These are the types. Understood? Now, as you have understood about the change, the physical change, right? Examples of physical change you have seen. Now, can you tell me what are the properties of physical change? You have seen what is change, right? The shape, the size, everything is changing. So, what will be the first property? Yes? Yes, it leads to change in shape, size, color, and state of its substance. So, first property of physical change is it leads to change in shape, size, color, and state of a substance. Clear? Now, what is the second property? Physical changes are reversible change. Clear? Next is your no new substance is being formed in physical change. In physical change, there will be no new substance formation. Next is there is no change in chemical composition taking place. So in physical change, there is no change in chemical composition. So are you clear with the properties of physical change? So write it down in your copy. These are the 4 properties of physical change. So what we have studied today? So in today's class, we have learned about what is change, what are the 2 types of change, how the changes are taking place around us, and we have seen in detail about the physical change, right? And we have also seen about some of the examples of physical change and the activity related to it. Is that clear to you all? Okay, very good. I hope you have understood. Now, I have understood, so let's revise. So tell me, what should be the answer of this? Changes in which only dash properties of a substance change are called physical changes. Which property? Yes, very good. It is physical property, right? So changes in which only physical properties of a substance change are called physical changes. Okay. Now, why it is easy to reverse the physical change? Why it is easy? What is the reason behind it? Why it is easy? As you have seen, right, in physical change, only there is loss gain of electron taking place, right? So, what is the answer? Write it down. In physical change, no new substance are being formed, and the particles do not change apart from gaining or losing energy, right? So that's why it is easy. We can reverse the physical change easily. Okay. Now, give me 2 examples of physical change that cannot be reversed. Think of 2 examples which cannot be reversed. You all take egg, right? You love it, right? But when you break it, what happens? Can you get back the exact shape of that? No, isn't it? So, breaking of an egg is an example of physical change that is not reversed, that cannot be reversed. And the next example is tearing off a paper. Tear it into small pieces. Can you get back the shape? No, right? So that is a irreversible change. So these are 2 examples of physical change that you cannot reverse. So, what is this picture? We have studied about the types of physical change. Now, can you identify this type of physical change? See, when you are burning wood, what comes out? The gaseous substances, it comes out, right? What do you call that? What type of change it is? What type of physical change? Yes, very good. It is smoke. Clear? So it is smoke. So I hope you have understood whatever we have discussed today. Today we have learned all about the physical change and a brief idea about the chemical change too. Physical and chemical change. So in the next class, we'll be learning about the chemical change in detail. So this is all about today's class. So to get all the notifications and the video lectures of my class, stay connected to Vistas Learning. Until then, keep learning.